Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Benjamin Kane. I'm in the booth here with Sasha Frank Stempel and Joe Dweck, and we are here for the last round of the YULA Invite today. We have a really great game ahead of us with Columbia High School versus Washington Liberty High School.
Yep, some familiarity on our part with some of the Washington Liberty High School players. Quick shout out to the Washington, D.C. under-17 team, which Sasha and I coached together with Dave Oles. Some of our past and current players on WNL, and some brief familiarity with the Columbia team, who we just watched in our previous game.
And a special shout out must be given to WNL's coach, Michael Klemencic, who is the organizer of this great tournament, got all this set up, and he gets to coach in it as well.
The best of both worlds.
Should be underway very soon with the first poll.
Now, interesting circumstances here as Columbia is looking to bounce back from a tough loss to the Bard team that actually just took a loss to this WNL team here.
The conditions here are also a nice change of pace. During our last round, we saw hail, we saw sleet, a lot of wind. Now it seems to be sunny. The wind's still there. It's going to be in the back of the players' minds, but at least things are drying off a little bit.
Columbia with the disc, they're going to start on defense, going from the right side of your screen to the left.
Interested to see if Columbia runs that zone we saw earlier today, given that the conditions have gotten quite better. No more hail.
And we are underway here with Columbia versus Washington Liberty. Disc lands in, bounces out of bounds, so Columbia is going to have a really advantageous position to start off trying to trap Washington Liberty on that far sideline.
And they are indeed back in that zone.
We're underway. Number 10 looking to get the disc off the sideline immediately. Jams it up to 46. 46 still being tracked, and he's going to let it fly deep to number 23. Number 23 makes a really impressive catch and finds number 22, just misses.
Just too short, throwing behind number 22 there. WNL, I'm sure, would have loved to convert that easy score, but now they've got to fight for it.
A beautiful huck by number 46, Nanda Minfink, one of the captains of WNL. Will be a player to watch for this game.
Columbia looking to be in a horizontal look right now. Good play in number 10, Alexander. The disc pops up, but he finds his cutter. And now Columbia looking to get that first break. Would be a really positive way to start that game for the Columbia D-line. Big deep. And it's an athletic play from the Washington Liberty defensive player.
Ooh. Seems to be travel was called by the Columbia team. Some discussion from the players, going to send it back. Oh, maybe not. Okay, disc tapped in for WNL. Columbia showing us that cup again.
Quick give and go for Washington Liberty. Here's number 46 with a disc looking to get off the sideline. He does successfully, but it's a really great play by number 10 on Columbia. And Columbia, again, second break opportunity for the first point of the game.
Short field option for Columbia here. See if they're able to convert. Looking to find that first open person and keep the disc moving.
Here's number 00. Just misses his man.
Now WNL will get the disc back, see if they can hold on O.
Quick give and go. Number 46 disc pops up, but it's a good play by number 23 to keep it in bounds. And now he's looking.
That huck was just, you know, I like the decision there, but the execution just seemed to blade out of his hands right away as it rolls far away from the field.
As WNL, I wouldn't be too upset with the field position here. It seems like the wind's picking up a little bit, as we see by a tent that is now broken because it flew off. We'll see Columbia going on O, pinned on their own end zone line.
And it looks like Columbia is back in that horizontal look that they had earlier. Those two cutters in the middle are really important in initiating the play. One of them goes deep, the other is looking for that big under. So we'll see how that works out here with the entire field to work with.
Columbia calm, cool, and collected as they walk the disc up to tapped in on O.
Looking for the reset.
Big huck from
Ends up
Columbia.
throwing it deep. 50-50 ball. And it's an impressive bid for number 10, but he can't reel it in. And now Washington Liberty quickly initiating again. Big crash for number 10, doesn't get it. Here's the crash for number 2, also doesn't get it. Number 46 looking for an option, ends up finding a player downfield, but they're still kind of trapped on that sideline. They're really going to look to get it around that Columbia Cup. Easy dish, and that's a really impressive throw to number 23, breaking the cup, and now Washington Liberty has a little bit more freedom off of the sideline.
Yeah, like really a great find on the inside lanes. Another fantastic scoober from WNL. Looking back for those easy resets. Goal line called not in. Can they convert?
They punch it in. And
Yet another call not in.
Washington Liberty sideline really thought that they were in. They were all flooding the field, and they reluctantly bring it back. But let's see if Washington Liberty have the composure to get it into the end zone in a short field situation. Risky throw, but it works out anyway. Washington Liberty up 1-0.
I think we should get a scoober count going. That might have been the third or fourth at this point.
3 there. We're a few turns there from WNL, but they were able to convert in the end, and that's all that matters there.
Just so calm, cool, and collected again from number 46, Nandaman Fink.
You can just see that trust in his receiver. He knew if he put it up, he would be able to get it.
And shout out to number 10 again on Columbia, making those physical plays, but just not enough for his team to convert the first throw, the first score. And like we said previously, this is going to be a tough bounce-back game for Columbia. I think walking away with a loss from Bard, a game they may have thought in their heads they had, and now up against what is certainly a tough W&L team.
Coming out on O, we see our more or less standard line, O-line from Columbia. And this new WNL team, we'll see if they're going zone or person to start off this game. We do see their captain, Nanda Minfink, still on the line, along with 6 new players who weren't on last point.
Interested to see how much they cross over Nanda. We know he is potent with the disc in his hand, and he can make the athletic play on the defensive side. Some would say he is the best player at this tournament today. Some. Signaling for the pull.
And we were back underway. Huge pull from number 46. And it helped by a really
Rolls
kind roll that's going to go out of bounds.
right in front of the cone
An
there.
incredible pull for this Washington Liberty D-line, trapping Columbia right on the corner of their own end zone, and they're going to start off right away with a really good scooper to get it off that end zone. Number 10 back to the Columbia handler, and it's a good play. It's
And
a huge bid.
What a layout by Nanda Minfink. I mean, we said it right at the top of this point. He can make plays on both ends of the disc.
He's now initiated as a first handler, but 10 finds the reset, looks for Nanda in the end zone. It's a give and go, and it's a huge break for Washington Liberty.
And with that little scoober from the Columbia player earlier, our current count is up to 4. And just taking another look at this layout, full extension, and then gets the dishy for the goal, Flips it up with the left hand. Pretty.
Really incredible red zone offense from Washington Liberty here.
And you can tell they're just high on the energy they've got. Let's see if they can just keep it rolling. It's time for this Columbia team to really show us what they have also. And you can see and hear the wind whipping. It was hailing earlier. It's now nice and sunny, but that does not mean that the wind is gone. There's a flag in the distance that's really blowing hard. The players' jerseys are rippling around them.
Yeah, I certainly think that wind is going to be a factor for the rest of this game.
We've seen zone from both these teams already, and there have only been 2 points. And I mean, that's been the theme for the day, is how well can these teams convert up against zones designed to force them into specific areas of the field, forced to make these high-level throws, and throws that we've seen from both teams so far. It's just a matter of execution across all 7 players on the field.
We see the Columbia sideline here, arm in arm, trying to get their teammates hyped up. Hopefully they can hold here.
We're back
and
underway.
Get back that break.
Huge. Another really impressive pull from number 46, Nanda. And it lands. Was it out of bounds?
Looks inbounds to me.
Looks inbounds. The cone is bouncing around, so it's really hard to tell. There's going to be some discussion about whether it landed in bounds or not. On the field, it's hard to tell from this angle, especially with the fact that there are no lines, that we're just kind of relying on the cone placement.
No lines, just vibes here, really.
What more do you need, though? All right, seems like the players have come to a consensus. Columbia will bring it up on the end zone line.
And Columbia back in that, facing that zone. It's a bobbly catch. It went off the hands of the defender after a really impressive hammer from one of the Columbia handlers.
Both teams not afraid to throw toppers in this wind, which just shows you the level of throws that they have.
Fakes the hammer. Looking for the crash, not getting it. Now looking for the around swing, gets stuffed by the mark, and ends up throwing a really tough throw that gets swatted down by the Washington Liberty defense. So here they have a really incredible opportunity to make it 3-0. 2 breaks up and really starting to put pressure on Columbia. Initiated by number 23, looking for that continuation, not there. Resets to Nanda, number 46. Looking for a couple of cuts on the open side. Now finds number 23, looking for the give and go, doesn't work. Finds the fill from number 92.
Interesting part about this WNL offense is that at times they'll go with only one handler back as opposed to 2 or 3.
As they look for that up line, pops in the air, number 23 makes an incredible catch and pressure. And it's 3-0 Washington Liberty.
Almost hovering in the air for a moment as he goes up with the left hand.
An incredible catch after what was going to be a standard upline was popped up into the air. We can see the turnover here forced by a really great mark by this Washington Liberty Cup. A great catch by 46, and this upline pops up in the air. An incredible read, but what a catch by number 23. It's 3-0 now for Columbia, or excuse me, for Washington Liberty, and Columbia really starting to feel the pressure.
I believe this was a timeout called by Columbia, trying to reset, see if they can hold on offense here.
You know, Columbia's gone back and forth. Gone back to those same 7-0 line players every single time. And you have to ask yourself, at what point does it keep weighing on those players to get broken, especially like this, against what seems to be already high-level Washington Liberty team? And again, the energy, I think, on the field from both teams is fairly different. You can see the smiles and the general attitude of the Washington Liberty team is a little up and jovial, whereas Columbia team's got their heads down. They're just trying to listen to their coach to find whatever it is they need to bounce back in this game.
At this point already, I think Columbia is really sensing the urgency of every point. They're going to need to start getting holds, and then it puts pressure on that D line too, because now they're going to have to start getting breaks.
And Columbia certainly has their own playmakers, and they really need to find those players to start stepping up. We've seen what they can do when they get it moving and are able to complete passes in a row, but until we see that here, it's just going to really be a fight for them. All right, we're coming out of our timeout now. Columbia retakes the field. Washington Liberty ready to pull. We'll see what kind of look Washington Liberty throws again. And once again, Nanda on the field. Don't think he's taken a point off for this Washington Liberty team yet. Would not be surprised if he has a point off today during the entire tournament. Just waiting for a hand from the other team so he can begin play.
Showing off that nice YULA Invite disc.
And here we go, back underway. Another big pull. Roll straight. Columbia's having trouble securing the disc, and it's a really impressive rundown defense by Washington Liberty, preventing that first throw right away, but it's still an impressive over-the-top throw by that Columbia handler. Fakes deep. Now a hammer, incredible throw, and two Washington Liberty players running into each other, and right away number 27 on Columbia recognizes. And we're going to have...
Definitely an injury called, hoping everyone involved is okay.
Yeah.
But some major contact between two of the same teammates. Okay, great, he's up.
Good to see that everyone's back up moving around.
That's the kind of play that you hate to really see. Everyone's going for the disc, not really aware of what's going on around them, and fortunately, some contact.
But very lucky to see that everyone is back up walking.
Looks like number 6 will call injury. Number 27 on Columbia will maintain. Oh, we might have had 2 injury subs out.
Yeah, I think both Washington Liberty players involved in the collision are subbed out.
And we've tapped live.
And discus tap back in. Number 27, after making a really incredible play in traffic on the disc. Now number 48, facing that Washington Liberty zone. The Washington Liberty zone was happy to force those throws, and it is a turnover for Columbia. Just the disc pocked up a little bit too much.
I think it might have been a little bit miscommunication there between the Columbia players who each thought the other was going to grab it.
Now initiated by Nanda again, looking for a deep shot. He's going to take it, but it's just a little bit too low.
Again, I like the idea of getting Nanda in that good power position, but just the flick huck with this wind coming out a bit too blady and dying fairly early. It's going to give them good defensive positioning downfield, but let's see what this Columbia team can do against the WNL defense. Now, it does look like some sort of cup, maybe a 3-1-2-1 with Nanda hanging out back over that cup.
Columbia looking to get over the top of the cup, they do, but now they're back right on that sideline. Here's that Columbia handler, fakes the around, looking for the around, looking for any holes around the cup, and now
Add one to the
add
scuba
one
counter.
to the scuba count, and here comes Columbia. They've broken that cup. They're looking for opportunities deep. They found 27 in the middle of the field. Now here's 0-0 in the red zone, finds the cutter in the end zone, and that's a Columbia goal.
And you know, that's the type of play that we expect from Columbia. Once they are able to put together passes and get it moving, they don't like to stop. They are just looking downfield to the next open person, making those easy throws and converting.
WNL's zone has been effective with those 4 players up near the front, but here we see what happens when you get past it. A bunch of throws, really hard to stop.
And for those trying to keep track with us at home, the scuba count is currently up to 5. Place your bets whether or not we can pass 10.
I think if we included the the other hammers and upside down throws in general, we probably would have already been close to that number.
We are looking specifically for scoobers here.
Understandable. Now we're going to get our first look in quite a bit at the Columbia D-line.
I'm sure that Columbia O-line is happy to get some players off the field, but at the same time, it looks like there is a lot of crossover from that Columbia O-line to D-line. Columbia signaling for the pull, waiting for a hand.
And it's a low pull. It's going to end up giving some pretty decent field position to this Washington Liberty O-line. Columbia back in that zone. Here's number 10. Right up the middle, number 23 makes the difficult catch. And now they're looking for another option. Number 2 with the disc looking to get it off the sideline.
Taking their time here, trying to find the best option for a throw. There is the open side to the right, but I don't know how much sideline they have.
Really good cup splitting throw to number 10. Back to number 46. Here's number 2. Already they're creeping towards that red zone. Looking for any option at this point. Dumps back off to Nanda.
Number 23 trying to slash downfield, create an option.
Add to the scoober count, and it's a good defensive play by number 10. And Columbia has a first chance in a while to break. Sends it deep immediately. But there's no Columbia player in the vicinity. And Washington Liberty back to work on offense.
Back to work indeed, looking to move it quickly.
Over the top throw to number 22. And here comes that numerical advantage, but Columbia gets numbers back really quickly. Here's number 23 with the disc. Directing traffic here, breaks the cup, and they're getting some swings. Number 2. Washington Liberty is just extremely patient with the disc right now. They are
taking the easy options.
Exactly. They're really content on setting the pace of this game. Nanda is really impressive at slowing down the tempo of this offense. When they are getting the give and goes, they are able to kind of ground themselves. Finds number 10 close to the end zone. Let's see if they can run an end zone set here to punch this disc in, and they find it.
With a cheeky high release lefty just straight up the line to Nonaman Fink. I think he might have been involved in every assist or goal today so far during this game. Just an amazing impact player.
We have seen there how content WNL is to just dink away at the zone. Little offhand throws, a lot of lefties we've seen, and just making sure that they keep possession and work it because they know that they will be able to find those holes if they're patient enough.
And again, credit to Columbia, able to make these physical plays, but it just seems like they are playing the huck for position game, and it is not working out for them as much as they would like.
So far, this Washington Liberty team is fully in control of this game, and Columbia is going to start having to look to their D-line to make breaks soon.
You can see the Continent Tour players warming up in the background there to be on this stream later, on their own stream later tonight, 7:30 at Washington Liberty High School. If you don't already plan to come out and you have the means, it's going to be a great, exciting game. So much talent on both teams. It's going to be a fun time.
I think this might be our first point without Nanda on the line, giving him some rest after he's just grinding out these points and being involved in really every major play.
Looks like we also have some newer personnel from the Columbia offensive side.
It's a high rolling pull. Columbia is able to stop it, so they have some pretty good field position as well. Let's see what they're able to do with it. It looks like a 4-person cup now, where number 2 is just pinching in, playing kind of the short middle or top of the cup role. And he makes an immediate impact.
An easy D.
Yeah. And now Washington Liberty has a huge break opportunity.
Just so much patience from them so far. No rush to play or move the disc.
Looks off that under, looking for the reset. And it's a good fill by number 92.
Taking the easy option. Looking for his reset.
Finds the reset. Number 2 throwing some fakes. Has an extremely open under, but instead elects to a really tough inside flick, but makes it work anyway. And now here is number 22 in the red zone for Washington Liberty. Looks off the reset, now finds the swing to number 28. Swings it again. Number 2 looking for that around backhand. Finds number 92 upline.
We are seeing some really patient D-line offense here. Just working it, resetting it all day, not worrying about rushing it.
It's a tough catch by the handler there, but they make it work anyway. Now finds number 28 upline.
Some great pressure D from this Columbia team, but W&L seems unfazed.
They're taking those really short throws, and it works into the end zone. It's another break for Washington Liberty. They're fully in charge of this game right now.
And notably, without their best player. Nanda's been available for all these points except for this one, and it does not seem like it's a problem. Just a quick, easy motion up line, beats the Columbia defender, and credit to Columbia again. They are playing some tight pressure defense, and they are not sitting this game out.
Really impressive, grindy upline from this Washington Liberty D-line offense.
Just impressed so much by the patience, where it seems like the Columbia team wants to just throw and go and move the disc as quickly as they can. This Washington Liberty team is content with holding the disc, waiting for the best option, finding the open person, and throwing. And it seems we may have a surprise guest here in the booth with us. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Merriman out here. DC Breeze. You know how it is.
AJ, wave hi to the camera.
Oh, we on camera?
We are on camera.
What's happening? This is a nice spot up here, y'all.
AJ, you're currently one of the coaches for the W&L team, are you not?
Yes, sir.
Anything you would like to add? Any player shout-outs that we should be aware of?
Oh. Have y'all been talking about Portner?
No, we've not.
Portner probably low-key one of the hardest workers on the team. He had just a nice one-hand grab on that last one under pressure. You can always rely on Portner. Matthew Kalin about to pull, too. He's a solid guy.
Happy to see some of the W&L players that were involved in a collision earlier back out on the field. Short pull rolling, and let's see what the Columbia O-line is able to do. Really kind of urgent for the Columbia O-line to start converting those chances before the game gets too far ahead of them. Over the top hammer, just over the head of the receiver.
An aggressive play from Columbia that does not work out in their favor. Let's see what W&L can do with the disc in their hands again.
No reset in the backfield, but now number 3 makes that undercut, strikes in front, winds up for the big throw, doesn't throw. Now looking for the reset. Number 10 trying to get open, eventually does, but it's a tough throw.
Just a little late there in the stall count, trying to force something, and Columbia, like we said, off to the races, trying to keep that disc moving as quickly as they can, looking for the open options downfield.
Number 10 to number 62. W&L content to keep them on that sideline, trying to prevent any swings. We might be treated to another scooper here at some point. Nope.
Oh.
It's just really too difficult for number 62 to reel in. And number 10. No, with the disc.
Again, nice and patient, finding that open receiver under, looking downfield for any other options.
Good around throw. And it's a really good break side throw to number 26. Washington Liberty advancing towards the red zone.
Nothing really materializing, but
Huge
wow!
layout. Doesn't actually make contact on the disc, but forces the turnover anyway.
I don't know. He might have touched it, in my opinion. Just contesting just enough to make it hard, and then throws the blade.
And another through throw. Number 6. Oh, goodness. What a play by number 10 to keep the disc alive and finds number 6. And it's D'd by number 10, but a huge effort by the Columbia receiver to get the second chance catch.
AJ is now out of the booth, but we'll see him back on the field in just an hour or two for the Continent game.
As Washington and Liberty hucks it, D'd easily by the Columbia side. Seems to be a pre-stall coming from the Washington Liberty player.
That's bold from high schoolers, but here's the Columbia handler with a hammer instead of his trusted scuba, but this player is really comfortable with the over-the-top throws.
Once again, Columbia looking downfield, trying to keep the disc moving, looking for those options. Sees open downfield, can't. Seems to be a call.
Yeah, they have a stoppage on the field. Going to be some discussion between the players. Can't tell what it is at the moment. Might have been a stall call. Not really sure.
They seem to be trying to resolve it now, deciding whether or not it stays. Indeed it does.
You know, Washington and Liberty trying to pin back Columbia on that sideline again. Count it.
Add that to the scuba count.
That's, wow.
Another impressive scuba to get the disc across the field. It's a high throw, and it's difficult for the Columbia handler to pull in. And now Washington and Liberty have a break chance. Number 10, patient on the disc, as Joe has been mentioning earlier. Not trying to force anything too quickly.
And credit to what Sasha said before, seems like they only have one handler back, just waiting for them to create something in the air, and they do.
Big, and are they calling it in? No. Number 3 right on the red zone. Let's see if the patience holds up here. And they do. They score. It's another.
Oh.
Do they? They do. It's a Washington Liberty goal.
Got a little collision there on the catch with his own teammate, but hauls it in. Maintains possession there.
And Washington and Liberty have another break.
And just a beautiful shot here. Oh, what a layout earlier in that point.
That throw in particular was really difficult for the Columbia handler to reel in. But as we could see, composure on the goal line.
A lot of moving pieces there.
Just trying to find the open person. And Washington Liberty up 6-1. And for those following along at home, the scuba count is up to 6. Can we break the 10 mark?
It's not even halftime yet. I've got a good feeling about this.
Seems like the wind is really whipping out there, picking up. Just Washington Liberty signaling for pull now as Columbia seems to be setting up their O sets.
We do see Nanda back on the field here for the pull after a little bit of a break, letting him rest his legs a little bit.
I think he did go on a 4 or 5 point straight run there, so credit to him for getting back on the field.
And we're back underway. Big rolly pull. That is stopped pretty effectively by the Columbia player.
number 10 picking up for Columbia this time. Not necessarily, I think, a role we've seen him in.
And another scuba.
Another scuba added to the count.
It works. 0-0 after a huge bid from Nanda isn't complete, and now Washington Liberty back to work, but immediately turns over the disc. Number 99 against the Washington Liberty zone, puts up a big throw to the end zone.
Oh, is unable to keep it in as the Washington Liberty player just knocks it down from right in front of him.
That was
Couldn't
a
reel it in.
risky play there by number 23, almost letting the disc tail back in at the last second.
And we're back underway here with Nanda starting off right on the corner of his own end zone against a Columbia 3-person cup. Rips a big backhand, just trying to get rid of it. It's good person defense by 0-0 for Columbia.
Certainly trying to play the position game there.
Yep.
And questionable save there by the number 2 on Columbia, but it seems like they've called it up. Washington Liberty back in their zone. Columbia seems like they're going to number 10 to try to produce some.
Throws a beautiful hammer over the top to number 27, who punches it in for Columbia.
Maybe that's what we're seeing now, is just turning to different playmakers and different personnel on the field, trying to find something to jumpstart their offense, and they might have found that very answer. Great, quick and easy score by Columbia after a few turns on both sides. Interested to see if they will bounce back.
Haven't gotten many looks at this Columbia D-line so far today. So it'd be interesting to see what they're going to throw at a Washington Liberty offense that seemingly has not had too much trouble getting the disc down the field quickly.
We'll also see if Columbia can keep up their momentum a little bit. See if they can get a break train of their own, as WNL has done earlier in this game.
WNL is certainly in the driver's seat right now with this big point deficit. You have to imagine that we're going to see more of that Columbia zone that we saw before.
Just have to see how Washington Liberty responds.
They've been pretty patient. I will not be surprised if they are able to convert despite the difficult conditions.
And the wind carries this ball way out of bounds onto the other field where another game is being played right now.
Right in the middle of the action, and seconds later, there's a D resulting in the disc pretty much landing on top of the other disc there. That's got to be confusing for him.
So Washington Liberty starting quite far ahead up the field. And number 10 automatically initiating. And we do see this Columbia zone. Number 46 now. Looking for some crashes, looking for that around. Fakes the hammer. Trying to get the throw off. Gets the scuba off to number 3.
Add it to the counter.
Number 2. A good wheel route.
Able to throw that nice inside. Just looking to get that score in the end zone.
And Washington Liberty's patience pays off again.
Called not in by
Called
Columbia.
not in. And now it's in for another Washington Liberty goal.
Nanda just grinding past his defender's inside shoulder, grabbing the disc and just chucking it up in celebration for this team as they get close to taking half here. Just one more point.
Really, really patient offense again from this Washington Liberty team.
Just, you can see how content they are faking the cutters open, not necessarily getting into the end zone right there, but just relying on their cutters downfield to be able to get open and put them in the end zone.
I believe we're seeing another timeout here, I would assume from Columbia. Allow themselves to get set.
We sure it's not half.
Last game we saw half being taken at 6. unsure if they're trying to take half after 7 now.
You know, during this stoppage now, I'm sure you got to imagine what this Columbia team is talking about. Obviously, these conditions are not faring well for the type of ultimate they're trying to play. Just this bang bang constant movement of the disc, not much sitting around and having to wait for an options to materialize downfield. So you got to think to yourself, how do they adjust? How do they create options for their handlers to keep the disc moving so they can keep attacking? Especially up against a Washington Liberty team that has just the same amount of physicality and playmakers on their side that can match them step for step.
So it does seem to
It's
be
half.
half during this game. So I have a feeling that Columbia is going to be, as Joe was saying, talking about ways that they can change the tide of this game. But credit where credit is due. Washington Liberty is not giving Columbia that many chances to get a break on them. They have been really clean offensively, really patient with the disc, just not making unnecessary turnovers, and it's resulting in Columbia not having many opportunities to claw themselves back into this game. So we'll see what adjustments are being made at halftime, but Washington Liberty will probably offensively just want to do the exact same thing that they have been doing.
It seemed like the Columbia coach was making some gestures that made it seem like they were going to try to work on spreading the field, finding those open opportunities like the hammers that have been successful. We'll see if that'll work out for them in the second half as they put out their O-line, I believe. They're starting on O. Although I could be mistaken there.
Columbia is certainly quick to get out on the field. They want this game started. And, you know, we spoke about what Columbia has said in their huddle during their half, but Washington Liberty, I'm sure, is just talking about maintaining the pressure that they've brought this entire game, maintaining that patience and that offensive potency, those good decisions, those multiple scoobers that they've both sides have thrown. And, you know, something else we haven't spoken about, this is their home turf. This has got to feel just like a normal Saturday for them at this point. It's just a huge advantage. You've got your school's logo on the field, on the scoreboards. You know, there is something to say about comfortability, complacency. You know, they practice on this field. They are at home here.
They've got their parents on the sideline too, and I believe some players from the WNL girls team as well. It's always good to play in front of your friends and your family.
And some alumni, I believe, are here to cheer their team on.
Technically, I count as an alumni. I played a season with WNL back in high school, went to high school nationals with them. I'm in the alumni chat, so I guess that counts, but I'm sure they have plenty of other players in the stands as well.
Washington Liberty going to be pulling to Columbia here. Seems like Columbia has some of their offensive keys back on the field.
Really, at this point, they can't afford any more breaks.
No, they have to go on a tear from this point till the end of the game. And with that clock ticking down, I'm sure they can feel the pressure in this 5-point deficit.
Washington Liberty, though, is going to be keen to not let their foot off the gas pedal. We have a hand from both teams to get the second half underway, and it's another roly pull that Columbia deals with pretty manageably. And we're seeing that horizontal look from them again. Another scooper over the top for 0-0. added to
Nanda
the
might
count.
have to step it up here. They're challenging him for the scuba supremacy in this game.
Yeah. And another scuba
If it
right away.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's a very easy offensive hold for Columbia.
That's exactly the sort of offensive point they need here, down by so much with the clock ticking.
Something fast, only a few throws.
And then put out your D-line, hopefully get a break or two.
And personally for us, we get to add 2 to the scuba count as we see this one right over the top, gaining a huge amount of yards and enabling their receiver to hit the open guy. 2v1 Columbia at numerical advantage in the end zone. It was really just all set up by a really incredible couple of scoobers.
And we should point out, there is still wind. It has died down only a slight bit, but these are toppers and difficult throws that these players are throwing, despite some noticeable right to left and upwind downwind wind. I'm sure Washington Liberty is just trying to focus on themselves right now, not trying to worry too much about that last point. Going to get the disc on offense, play nice, efficient-o, and keep rolling.
There you can see number 46 back on the field, ready to take command of the offense. Making sure Columbia can't build any real momentum here. Signal's ready, and here's the pull.
Big pull, carried up by the wind. And Washington Liberty content to just let it fall and let their patient offense go to work. Number 10, big up line. Look for number 46 in the middle of the field, finds him, ends up going to ground, but Washington Liberty have quite a few players in the backspace now. He's looking deep for number 23, who catches it. What a catch by number 23 in the end zone with a player coming down on him.
And talk about some easy offense. Doesn't seem like there was much pressure there from the Columbia defenders. Washington Liberty able to make the throws they wanted, able to find the people open downfield, and just convert efficiently.
The handler really sensing, as we can see here, the space that number 23 had.
And we've got 2 straight fairly quick O points. We'll see if they keep on holding or if we're going to see another break or two happen sometime soon.
Yeah, of course, Washington Liberty more than content to just keep on trading holds for the rest of this game.
Right. This Columbia team has really got to step up and start forcing some Ds. Now, number 10 on Columbia, Alexander, certainly been a standout today, making some physical plays. And we've seen him step up at moments, but I wonder if they keep going back to him to try and make those plays on the other end to see if they can stop the bleeding at all.
Seems like we've got Clemencic, WNO's coach, bringing everyone in, drawing something up, so we'll see if we maybe have WNL displaying another zone look, switching things up, trying to confuse the Columbia offense.
It's hard to blame them because just another break for Washington Liberty would really be it for the game. It would just be close to insurmountable for Columbia to come back from that. So they're really pushing for just one more break opportunity.
Based on some of the gesturing I've seen from the Washington Liberty line, I would not be surprised if number 6 came down to put on a nice big mark on any of the Columbia handlers. Use that length and size to really just stop any hucks that come up their way. Washington Liberty signaling for a pull, get a nice O-line clap from Columbia.
It's a low pull. It's actually going to get carried and roll out of bounds. Let's see how Columbia responds to starting off with the disc being trapped on the sideline.
Let's WNL get their 4-person or 3 and then 1 person right over the top there.
It's a big blade over the top to 00.
Was that a scoober?
No, it was not.
Okay.
I'm sorry to report. And they get it back to their handler, who makes a really athletic play. Did he stay in bounds?
He seems like he has.
Yeah, he stayed in bounds. What an incredible catch. And throws it very nice hammer over the top to 10 Alexander. Number 6 has the disc now, and they punch it in with number 00. Incredible offense, but again, the Washington Liberty defense just completely unlocked by a couple of really impressive over-the-top throws by these Columbia handlers.
And it seems to be that Columbia might have started to figure out where the open spots on this field are that Washington and Liberty are giving them, going to these, big, what a grab, going to these big toppers, cross field, as we see here, just pinpoint. Great catch by Alexander here, easy dishy up to 6, nice find in the end zone, and the fake spike from 00. Now, as we said before, they can trade holds all they'd like, but it's really up to this Columbia defense now to step up and put some pressure on and force some turns from this Washington Liberty offense. A Washington Liberty offense that has been so far very, very patient and very, very, very willing to have their players downfield work to get open and get them the disc. Columbia ready to pull.
With time ticking down, really feels like now or never for this Columbia D-line to start stepping up and forcing some of those breaks.
Just a huge opportunity for a momentum swing.
And this pull is going to float just in bounds. It's a good pull from Columbia. Washington Liberty looking like horizontal offense here. Resets to number 2.
Finds their person
there.
inside.
And
Big
now
hook.
unleashes a big hook again to number 23. Who's going to run it down and catches it.
Does he stay in?
I think he did.
Indeed he does.
He does. That's another quick hold for Washington Liberty after an incredible throw and catch by this combination that we've seen multiple times now.
You can see that chemistry and that trust in the teammates. He came for that cut on the sideline, turned and booked deep. Nanda knew he could trust him. He could put it out to space and let him run onto it. Put it right for him on the back line. Nice job of towing it, and 23 brought it in.
A huge pass out to space just for number 23 to run onto.
With just 2 Columbia defenders trailing behind him, more than enough time.
And now Columbia faces themselves with needing another quick score, and they're back in the situation of needing to start getting some breaks.
Some Columbia players on the line signaling for the Washington Liberty team to hurry it up.
You can feel that sense of urgency that they have as the clock is winding down.
Right, not only are you playing against a point cap, you're also playing against time.
Clem happy to take all the time in the world to make sure his players are on the same page. With the added benefit of maybe
Burning some clock
burning
off.
a few seconds off there, yeah.
I would never think of a coach who would resort to some tactics like that. Columbia waiting the Washington Liberty pull, showing that disc. They have a hand from the Columbia side.
Here we go. Big backhand pull. It's going to hit about midfield and roll. Back to midfield. Columbia helped out by that kind deflection off the turf. And we're back in that horizontal look. 0-0. It's poached defense. And Washington Liberty gets the defense on the first throw.
Just looking for some options here now with an opportunity to break. Throws it deep with not much else happening.
a really athletic throw, and it bounced. A really kind bounce for Washington Liberty to get the catch, but they weren't able to. Now Columbia, they sling it deep as well, looking for a cutter deep. He's made the catch, and he is... Are they calling him in?
It seems like he was inbounds by a few
are
yards
having discussion
there.
about it, and he's in. He's called in. It's another big catch for Columbia.
0-0 has just been really consistent all day, especially in that deep space.
Yeah, Clyburn has really been potent for them downfield. Interested to see if they call his number again in those situations. And just what a throw from the Columbia handler. No one in the vicinity. Just pretty much walks it in with an easy grab.
And Washington Liberty taking their time to make it back to their side of the field, whereas Columbia already has their 7 on the line.
I've got 9-5. Columbia here certainly talking about any of the defensive adjustments they can make to try to stop what is a certainly potent offense from the Washington Liberty side.
Signaling readiness, and Columbia gets us back underway with a really nice pull right along the sideline, and it bounces. Washington Liberty having trouble fielding it, but now they do at the 30.
Seems to be some confusion about whether or not he caught it or stopped it.
Similar situation happened to me during the skirmish this morning.
Ended up maintaining possession though for G-Dub. Let's see if WNL is able to maintain it as well.
And I think they should maintain here.
It didn't seem to me that he had the disc in his hands, and they're going to agree. They initiate with number 46 again. He has 2 cutters looking deep. Nice lefty high release throw to number 23 again. Looking for the around. He gets the around. It's too high. It's a really athletic play, but Columbia suddenly has a break opportunity. They have a player streaking deep. They're looking for their handler who maintains possession. Now throws it deep to number 10.
Can he track it down?
He can. What a catch. What a throw. What a catch by number 10.
Ooh.
Leaves his defender hanging with the high 5.
Bit of an aggressive spike right on number 23 for WNL.
You know, he's been playing tough all day, making physical plays. I don't blame him for trying to get a lot of that pent-up energy out in that spike, but at the same time, I feel like you got to dap up the other team if you make a play like that.
And he's respecting it. It's a really nice play, and he was just trying to get some respect for
Yep. Seems like Columbia is finally finding the momentum swing they need with just in the right amount of time as the clock ticks down, less than 20 minutes left.
We see there that throw that was a bit too far, and then Columbia's quick counterattack, towing the line, really trusting his defender, putting it with a little break side fade. Alexander, number 10, is able to come down with it.
And we said earlier in this game he needed to make plays for this Columbia team to come out of this hole, and make plays he has.
It's the first break for Columbia today, and they're going to need a couple of more.
Columbia here out with pretty strong D-line. Seems to be most of their starters from what we can understand. Alexander getting the point off after a great play. Let's see if his teammates can.
We got the spin pull. Fairly deep, almost to the end zone line for WNL.
And so close to getting the first throw D, but now we have an injured player.
Injury call for Columbia.
He's going to walk gingerly off the field there.
Kogan
Yeah.
Drew, number 27.
He was just coming down really, really hard, trying to get that first throw D, and then when he stopped after not being able to get it, just looked like may have tweaked something. So there's going to be an adjustment for this Columbia D line right here.
And you know, you're just hoping that these injuries are minor. It's just a cramp. These players can bounce back and just get on the field and continue playing Ultimate.
Especially during the last game of the day for a tournament when they've already put their bodies through so much. And now they're back underway with a 3-person cup. Finds Nanda on the open side.
Looking downfield, trying to make something happen for his team.
Forced into a short dish to reset. Another short dish to reset. They're still keen to get it off the sideline.
Shows
looking
off the
for
scooper.
around. He's threatening. And he does it with the no-look scooper. And Washington and Liberty have not only switched the plane of attack, but they have also added one to our scooper count. Nanda quick give and go. And he is, oh goodness, he's
Looks
grasping
like that might be a cramp.
his ankle right away, and he has gone down. Oh goodness.
We're hoping that he's okay as well.
He looks to be in.
With the number of points he's been playing today,
Not
it's
surprising if he's cramping.
altogether surprising that he would have an ankle cramp like, or calf cramp like that.
And from the angle of the camera, you can see his calf is really tightening. So, hoping that, he's able to get off. We'll take a look now again at that beautiful scuba.
And he is being helped off the field by a couple of supporters, but you really just hope that these players are okay.
And that it's nothing more than a slight cramp. Nothing more serious than that, especially for a player as impactful as Nondaman Fink. For those at home who are interested in the scuba count, we have cracked 10. We're actually up to 11 now.
Wow.
So if you like scubers, this is the game to watch. And interestingly enough, number 44, Teo Huson being checked in. Teo, a notable member of the DC U17 team last year.
He resets the disc immediately, gets it back, still on that sideline. Now he breaks the cup to number 23, who's towards the middle of the field. Columbia still in that cup, still trying to get another break opportunity, but it's been patient offense so far. Now we have
Seems to be a travel call.
disc tapped in. Number 2 looking to swing, looking to break that cup. And it's a forced turnover.
Columbia, this could be a key moment for them right here if they're able to convert. Finds the open person on.
And unforced error.
You know, you hate to see it. That was an opportune moment for Columbia. Pre-stalling the disc now for Washington Liberty as they look downfield, trying to find something to materialize. Able to find number 23.
Number 23 with the disc now. Looking to reset the disc. Nice inside backhand.
But yet another call. What a travel, a pick. Seems to have affected the continuation at least by one throw.
So here's Columbia again, looking for that hold. Bobbles catches it.
Washington Liberty with a nice round.
Yeah, Washington Liberty, excuse me. And finds the end zone. It's a questionable bid.
An injury call for yet another Washington Liberty player who seems to be cramping after taking some tough contact.
Bid, yeah.
And there is a lot, there's a lot on the line for this Columbia team. But at the same time, you have to know when to put your body into a space without trying to injure the other player. And that was certainly a late bid. Certainly could be called dangerous. Washington Liberty looks like it will keep the disc here. 23 will be stepping off.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are players on the Washington Liberty side who are excited to come back into this
Yeah.
game, pick up that disc, and try to get some glory for themselves.
No, but especially as we were saying earlier, late in this game, these cramps, these injuries are exacerbated by the fact that you've been playing so much already. You've been putting your body through so much. But now Washington Liberty with the disc right on the goal line. Let's see how they're going to be able to punch it in. Disc tapped in. Looking for the up line. It's not there. Looking for another up line. Not there. Looking for the around. And finds the up line. They punch it in.
Number 10 able to sneak through on that up line on the tiniest space to the front cone.
Really commendable patience from the person with the disc. Not forcing any throws that they knew were going to be super tight, super contested. And they just put it in a spot where they knew that only their receiver could get to it. And again, Columbia facing an uphill battle now. Really good cut by number 10.
And you know, all credit to number 2 on Columbia. He tried his best in that small space to keep the disc out of his offender's hands. But there's only so many times you can cut into that little triangle right to the front cone before something's got to happen.
That's certainly true. It looks like we have a timeout on the field right now as both teams look to regroup. It's been quite a chippy last couple of points, quite a few injuries. So I think that both coaches are really just trying to emphasize the fact that it's important to stay healthy, important to keep your opponents safe as well, not do anything that may cause any major damage to your opponents.
And I mean, the two Washington Liberty players we've seen go down with cramps are some of their key players who have scored or assisted on many, many points.
Looks like number 23 is off on the sideline just getting his elbow treated, so it doesn't seem to be anything major, which is always good to see. It's good to see these young players being able to get up back on their feet after just a minor tweak.
Wondering now if Columbia has enough time, can score quickly enough to bounce back and make a game out of what is left here today.
Really, at this point in the game, they really can't afford to let any of these opportunities go to waste. They have to be taking every opportunity they have, plus creating a couple other ones to have a chance back in this game.
Washington Liberty waiting for the signal from Columbia to pull. You can just tell that they are dialed in, going to play hard until this game is over.
Nice O-line clap from Columbia there, and we're back underway with another nice rolling pull.
A lot of Blady rolling pulls today. Seems like teams are wanting to just take the right field position.
Yeah, Washington Liberty, good way of getting down there, stopping that first throw center. Over the top throw is just too high, and Columbia giving up another opportunity. Washington Liberty really have the chance now to put this game to bed.
Under 10 minutes to go. Looking downfield, trying to find a reset, but taken away by Columbia.
Really impressive defense on that initiated throw. And looking deep for number 6, the disc is going to carry high. There's a pile beneath it, and it's caught
Columbia
by
comes down with it.
Columbia. And they're trying to punch it in here. Washington Liberty getting bodies back.
Columbia still in the goal line.
And they're forced into a hammer. That is not caught.
Knocked down, but looks like there was a call made by the Columbia player. A foul.
A couple of risky decisions made by Columbia there. One of them worked out, the other one in deliberations over.
Just really seems like he was running out of options there. Didn't want to swing the disc, but forces it to that back left corner.
And it looks like Washington Liberty is going to come away with the disc, so they have the break opportunity now facing the entire length of the field. Disc tapped in, number 10 has been their primary handler for most of this game. Fakes the big deep backhand. Nice around throw to number 3.
Looking upfield, not seeing any options, looks to his reset, finds them, continuing to the open side.
Back to the hands of number 10. Looks off the under, now looking for his reset. Reset goes up line, now it's a big deep throw, but it looks like the Columbia handler gets big, pulls down the disc, and now it's a Columbia opportunity to still get this hold, but time running out for the Columbia O-line. Big Huck has caught.
Can he find another player downfield?
Columbia committing bodies forward. Number 48 finds number 00. 00 finds 48 again. They're knocking on the door here. Couple of cuts to the same space, and number 00 is in for the goal. It's a Columbia hold.
But is it enough with only 7 minutes left on the clock? Can they score fast enough? Can they force D's quickly enough to come back with their backs against the wall now?
It was a certainly impressive show of resolve by this Columbia O-line, not being perturbed by a couple of tough turnovers. They were able to get those back, but now they really, really have to start taking those break chances. They can't really afford
Any
to
mistakes.
not.
Any mistakes.
Exactly. And Washington Liberty looks like they've just called a timeout here.
Good strategic timeout on Washington Liberty's part. Seems like they just want to burn some clock here, talk about the small adjustments that they can make in an effort to close this game out. You know, just a wonderfully well-played game by both teams. At first, Washington Liberty going up early, making some big plays. Columbia answering back late in game, winning this half so far. But is it enough with the time left as the clock ticks down below 6 minutes?
And I think that's why this first half was so important for Washington Liberty. They really provided themselves just some cushion to have a little bit more of a back and forth game this second half, but still they're up by quite a few breaks after a slew of breaks earlier on in this game, and by the looks of it, it was enough for them to carry out this victory. But Columbia quick to get this pull off here. I have a feeling we're going to see some guys coming down real hard to try and stop that first throw.
Looking for some Cali country, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Not close enough on this pull.
Nope. And it's a first throw
D.
Number 27. What a play. And they have bodies forward here.
Nearly a turn in the backfield. Looking to score now. Not even looking at his reset, only looking upfield.
And now he finds the reset. Looking upfield again. It's a wide open player. Is he in the end zone? He's not in yet.
Somebody in the back left corner calling for the disc, calling for that hammer. Running out of options.
Really good lockdown defense, forcing Columbia back into the reset, but it's an over-the-top throw, and he can't pull it in. He can't pull it in. 00 had trouble with the disc. What an opportunity for Columbia.
Really coming out strong in that D, running down, calling it like you said, trying to force that early D, getting the first throw turn, but just not capitalizing.
And they're going to need another quick turnover here, as a Washington Liberty player comes off.
Injury again.
It was the same play that was cramping up before, so I think just the impacts of the late in the last game of the day really getting to him. But now here's Washington Liberty trapped on their own sideline, gets it.
Teo Huson with the disc, looking for options off the sideline, upfield.
Bobbling it, but still brings down number 92. Now looking for their reset, looking up line.
Washington Liberty really just has to play possession here. That clock ticking down is really, really working in their favor.
Finds the up line, but he can't bring it in. And now Columbia.
Columbia's got to try to score fast. I know they're just walking up to the disc right now, but
They don't have time to.
they do not have time to play lackadaisical. They have to run.
And it's a nice crossfield throw. Opening up the field for multiple opportunities of attack here. Here's 0-0.
Looking downfield.
Nice under from number 27.
We
Who
see
looks to the end zone for the catch, and it's caught. Number 2, the break for Columbia. It's 10-8.
but is it too little, too late? The horn just sounded. And the teams, it seems, are lining up. This would be an emphatic win for Washington Liberty. Columbia really putting up a fight this second half.
An incredible performance by Columbia. They had some really incredible throws that enabled them to attack multiple spots on the field. But overall, Washington and Liberty's first half proved too much for Columbia to surmount.
Columbia really winning that second half 6-3, just showing the resolve and their ability to bounce back from an ugly first half.
Just an overall really impressive game by both of these teams. We also can see Nanda number 46 walking, although a little bit gingerly. He is up on both feet and supporting weight, which is really good to see after he seemed to be in quite a bit of trouble after that injury.
So, thanks everyone for tuning in to YULA Invite 2022. It's been a wonderful day of games. Make sure to come back later tonight to check out the Continent Tour stream at 7:30, which will be what I'm sure a fantastic and entertaining game with some of the best black players in the country.
But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Benjamin Kane, Joe Dweck, and for a while we had Sasha Frank Stempel. But thank you guys so much, and we hope to have you back soon.